Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Altered Carbon, Season 1, Episode 9. It is called Rage in Heaven. So, full spoilers for the episode. It's the penultimate episode of the season, so we're setting up our endgame.
Yep.
And the episode largely revolves around, essentially, I mean, it's not actually a heist, because they're not actually stealing anything, but it's like a heist, because they're having to break in, having to plan it.
Like a heist.
Yeah, they have to plan things, they have to get into this place and pull off their mission. So that's the bulk of the episode. I want to talk about the start. Well, actually, the very first thing you see is actually a very intense. You don't see who's playing it. You see a very intense game of rock paper scissors. Just really, really dramatic, and you just see the hands going up and down. But so here's the thing, right? So they're in the hotel, and Ortega shows up, and she's like, "Oh, I was just killing your sister. I'm in pain," and I'm like, given how ominous that last episode ended with her finding the kid and thinking it was just a kid, I'm like, this is fishy. Like, so they're going to twist this here, right, and tell us that's actually his sister. Like, any moment now, right? Like, we're waiting for that.
It goes on a little bit longer than you expect.
It goes on a little bit longer. It got to the point where, and I don't think this is necessarily fair just in a vacuum of what it's doing on its own. That it drags it out long enough where, to a point where Kovach kind of like realizes and he looks at it and goes, "What have you done with her?" And I'm like, okay, fine, they're doing what I think they should be doing.
And I appreciated that she referenced that it took a while.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So in a vacuum, I think there's nothing wrong with how long it takes. But I'm in a place where I don't really trust this show to do the right thing. Where there was a point where I started to question, not because anything was happening that was making me think it, but I actually started to question, wait, are they not going to do that twist? And it's actually just Ortega, and it's just a really awkward way to continue from last episode.
That is, I mean, obviously they didn't do that, but
yeah,
that really tells you where you're sitting with the show, doesn't it?
Yeah, I assume they'll do the stupid thing and it'll feel clunky, because it'll feel like we missed a scene or something where we saw what happened with the girl. Because at one point she even says, "Oh, she hid in the body of a little girl. How sick is that?" And I'm like, they can't be just having that off camera.
But
right?
it says a lot that your expectation of the show was that.
But and again, I want to clarify. My doubt of this was not, like, it wasn't me thinking, oh, I think in any other context I'd be like, oh, of course it's still like secretly the sister and it's going to turn out to be that. My doubt was purely just based on the quality of the writing of the show and thinking they might be dumb enough to not do it, or dumb enough that it doesn't play off how the last episode ended properly. But hey, and he's all pissed. And I do have to say, like, we've had a lot of naked people throughout the show, but I really felt like when Ortega, like, it's Ray inside Ortega's body, stands up and she's like, "Oh, I see why you like the sleeve. It's all nice," and she's been all naked. I'm like, all right, I get it. If you're a mature show, you like to show a lot of nudity.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like, I understand here where it's not her body. She doesn't care. She's like, hey, look at it.
Sure, but it doesn't change the fact that we're at a point now where we've seen so many people naked throughout the show where it's starting to feel like that fake HBO thing, like, oh, we can show naked people, so we're going to do it, because it makes us look like we're mature.
I will say, for me, it's gone the other way, where it can feel like that when you just do it at first, but because it's been so consistent of, oh, I know, it's just so casually done all the time, that it's kind of numbed it.
Now, see, here's the thing. All in episode 2, right? Barring, like, I think at one point we see like some sleeves in the background or something like that, but barring that, it's all been the ladies. So, you know what? I'm calling it out. It's nothing but cheap sex appeal at this point.
Fair enough.
Last episode didn't bother me so much because it was kind of like this creepy kind of Terminator thing where she kept waking up in new bodies.
It made sense for the bodies to be naked.
Yeah, it felt more clinical in that sense. Whereas this just felt like, no, yeah, sexy, yeah, boobs.
No.
I don't know. I'm at a point now where I've been doing it so much all season, but they're starting to like, okay, right, this is getting less justified as we go on here. But then the episode basically becomes about the heist, and there's a little sort of trick of the eye, as it were. And it's not really a trick in the sense that I actually like what they do in the episode. I just think that the reveal of, like, so after she sends her man, the Ghost Walker, she actually sends him to kill Ortega's entire family. It's a really dark scene. I liked it a lot. Even kills the kids. They didn't pussy out. I respect that.
Yeah, definitely. Because they'll often just avoid that. It's like, oh, we can't cross the line.
Because it'll look for a second like he was going to like back out and be like, no, I wouldn't harm the children. I'm like, no. Like, don't back out. Don't pussy out. If you're going to do the dark thing where you kill the entire family, kill the entire family. Right? That's fine. So, he comes over, he sees all this, and it's, you know, he sees her mother, like, you know, laying there dead. Sees the kids. You just see the feet sticking out. They don't, you know, they don't like. We don't necessarily want to see the kids just be like, like, you know.
You can show us the adults, fine, but
Yeah.
once it gets to the kids, there's an extra level there.
Yeah, especially when you're taking it seriously. I argued in a film recently, Mum and Dad, which is about parents trying to kill the kids. That's more of a black comedy, so I was disappointed we didn't see more of the kids, like, like, you know, the violence, because it had more of a slapsticky feel to it. Whereas this is a serious moment with serious death. It's meant to mean something.
It's just because it bumps your rating up immediately.
Oh, it does, it does. But does that really matter in this case?
Not on this one, no.
No. But so they do this, and soon after this, it cuts like a day later. And Kovach, like, he's distraught by what he's seen. That's a horrific thing. And to give the show credit, this actually works really well in the sense that we spent enough time, especially with Ortega's mother, that the deaths mean something. And we, you know, we had that,
knew them a little bit.
We had that scene, you know, where they were celebrating De Mortis. There you go. But yeah. They're sitting at the table and they were all kind of arguing about, you know, the grandmother being in the sleeve, and they're all bickering, and the kids were like asking all sorts of dumb questions. So they all feel like real enough people. We got enough of them, especially her mother, that this actually is like, oh shit, they killed her. Like, I had enough time with her that it feels like a character dying, not just some random red shirt.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
So that's nice, that's good. So Kovach is at like a bar. And Ray comes in and they sit down and they have an eye to eye, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to leave. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care where you've got her stashed somewhere. Like, I'm just going. I'm going to do something. And, you know, I'm not sticking around with you. I hate your guts now too. But I'm going to go on vacation and just sort of live my life away from you. Don't want anything to do with you, sister. And she references one point in the scene. It's only been like a day and a half. And I'm like, okay, right. Won't read too much out of that yet. And then Ghostwalker follows him. He gets in a car with Miriam Bancroft and flies off. And then it cuts to Mickey with Vernon and Ava in the male sleeve and whoever else and Poe. And they're watching on the screen like, okay, and there he goes. And it feels like, okay, they've got something planned here. And then Kovach walks into the frame. And it's like, yep, there I go. And then it's like 18 hours earlier and it cuts back.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing here, right? I actually really like this in theory. My only concern is that before it actually shows you Kovach walking in, which is the only part of this that's even remotely, oh, what's going on? Like, this is weird. There's no, it doesn't feel like it's building up to a reveal of any kind. It just kind of, because
it would almost have been just as effective not to have Kovach appear and just cut to 18 hours earlier. Of like, there he goes.
Yeah, arguably it may have been more effective because we would be like, okay, what's the plan? And then we'd see him like duplicate and whatnot, and then we'd see him walk in the second time we get to that scene. Because this is the thing, before it cuts to them and they're like, okay, the plan's in motion, there he goes. All we actually see him do is get in a car and fly off.
Yeah. He has a little chat with Miriam for like 20 seconds.
And honestly, the only thing that, like, this because obviously what Kovach does is he like puts himself into two sleeves. He does the whole illegal copying thing. And the only thing that version serves, the one that flies away with Miriam, is basically just to make Ray think that he's away and he's not a threat.
It's just a distraction.
Yeah, it's just to make her put her guard down. That's all it is. Nothing else really comes from him. So while I like everything they do, it's ultimately, when you actually think about it, not actually that exciting what they do with the copy. It's just kind of
it's kind of underwhelming almost.
Yeah,
like there's you feel like there was more potential in the idea.
Yeah, but all the heist stuff, I was into it. So we got this heist. We got this basically sick like brothel in the sky that Ray runs, which is the really extreme stuff where guys get to come in and, like, you know, do whatever they want, kill whoever they want. But the one thing they do on top of this is really sadistic, and we find out this is where the body that fell into the water all the way back in like episode 2, you know, where that comes from, is they actually, Ray recodes them so that anyone who looks at their bodies thinks they're religious, so they don't want to be spun up again. And they think they're going to be re-sleeved when they're killed by the clients. Like, they accept what they're doing because of that, but in actual fact they're not, and the clients know that. The clients get off on the fact that they're actually really killing them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's depraved, obviously, and it's effective though.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say "but" as if you were going to stick up for it in some way there.
No, clearly not. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's really sick because Vernon, like, goes in, like, you know, Kovach is hiding in the car, and he Vernon's like pretending to be some, high-ranking military guy, and he comes in and he's into this room and he's offered this girl, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to kill me? Do you want to do this? Do you want to have sex? Do you want to do all these things?" And he's like just kind of in shock, and we see like everyone else is kind of watching what he's seeing and listening to it. And she's like, "Oh, do you want to do this?" And he's like, "Oh, how old are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not some old person putting this sleeve. This is really me. I'm like just 19, and this is really really who I am." And the real sick part though is like, because obviously obviously like I think Vernon gets some of his best character work here, where he like specifically like tries to help her and like just knocks her out. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to stop this from ever happening. Like, you never have to do this again." Like he's all very promising. The sickest part though is when he gets out and the guy who's like sort of showing him around is like, "Oh, do you want anything else? A man perhaps?"
Yeah,
or
he walks out with a knife. He's like, "Oh, I see you took a souvenir."
He's like, "Or child." Oh no, it's the gun he's got. It's the cattle prod.
You're right. Yeah.
Which is what it is. It's basically a cattle prod for the sleeves, the prostitutes.
The bolt gun.
Yeah. So, and there you go. And it's like, "Yeah, do you want a kid?" And that it cuts back to everyone else, and they're like, "Oh, this is sick. What?" Yeah. So it's really depraved, and this is the kind of thing where like later on when Ray's monologuing about how she's doing this all for her brother and her so they can have a future, like. You're giving kids to perverts so they can live out their fantasies. How are we? There's no way we're ever going to sympathise with you now.
Do you know what the problem is, though? It kind of made Ray slightly less interesting as a villain.
Because she's just dark as shit and evil beyond.
Yeah, there's
reproach.
no like ambiguity to her. There's no is she really doing this for him? There's like, nah, she's just evil. She's just being another crime lord. Yeah, it's personal for him because of who she is, but. She's just doing the crime lord thing.
Yeah. There's no, there's no like grey areas. There's no like, maybe some of this is justified. Like nothing justifies this. No, exactly. Nothing does. Like she's just deplorable. So super evil, super dark. But all the heist stuff, Kovach can he kicks the one guy off the because obviously they're in the floating building, so he kicks him off and he just falls, and it's kind of slow motion operatic shot, and then he goes in and tries to gets to her, because the whole plan of course is to get to Ray and block her from backing up and cutting that off, so that she's vulnerable, so she's killed, that's it, she's done, and if the destroyer's stacked, then that's her. So, and they get to her and they're all threatening her, and it's all very much that. And we actually just kind of end with the cliffhanger of like the Ghost Walker and like some henchmen coming in and like kind of grabbing them and like nah, and Vernon gets shot in the leg. And like okay,
I'm sure we'll have a big action sequence to start off the last episode.
Yeah, most likely. The actual kind of like staring down each other at the end and kind of monologuing was not that exciting because
it's not, like I said, she's actually lost presence as she's gone on. With the more I find out about what she's actually doing, the less interesting it becomes.
It is, yeah, because she's just a crime boss who's really evil and does evil things.
It feels like wasted potential. Like, I don't know, you could have done a lot more with it. I feel this character as okay, this is the long lost sister, the betrayal, the envoy past, and and this is all just okay. She was trained by the Yakuza, and here she is just doing that stuff.
Pretty much, because she had the most presence probably last episode when she was just kept waking up in more bodies. It was very Terminator-esque.
Yeah, that was great. That was clearly the high point.
She felt unstoppable. She felt like this force to be reckoned with. But yeah, her motivations just feel so thin and like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I don't really know why she's doing all this other than money.
So it's just evil. That's the thing.
That's it. Like,
there is no why. It's just how she is.
Yeah, and that's just ultimately kind of boring. I want motivations for my villains, whereas I don't really have any.
It depends on the character. It can work sometimes. Sometimes just being evil
like this, where it's supposed to have this personal connection to our hero, and it's been built up. I feel like they have to have some sort of motivation.
Yeah, Michael Myers doesn't want motivation.
Oh, that's fine, but he's supposed to be just faceless killer. She's not.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying though. I'm just saying that doesn't apply to all.
No, okay.
But here she is by far less interesting now because of this. Because she is just evil 1.0.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. And I feel like taking away the backups, so okay, she's on her last lap is a kind of less interesting as well. Because like I said, at the best was where she was just going into multiple bodies, and I know why they have to do this for a plot reason for the heroes to win.
Well, it gives her stakes for herself when she's fighting now because she's not.
It does, but some of the appeal is gone of the just the cool factor of what she was.
I do. I like the idea of everyone kind of banding together and saying, "No, we're all going to come together and help you with this heist." Because originally Kovach is like, "Oh, everyone piss off because you're all in danger," and then they all say, "No, we're not doing that. We're all going to help you because we want to take this bitch down."
Yeah,
you know, so that's kind of how that goes. And admittedly, I feel like it would have meant even more if I felt like I got enough time with, say, like Vernon and Ava.
Yeah, Ava especially, where was it just last episode we got her back?
Yeah, and Mickey as well, like, he's never really interacted with anyone but Ortega. So his motivation makes sense that he wants to come and help. But
Oh, of course. But it's just like, okay, he's part of the team, whereas before he's always been a side element, like a support role to the team.
Which is fine, because sometimes that can be the exciting part towards the end of the season where everyone comes together. It's very Stranger Things almost. Everyone's actually together working on the common goal now, which is fine. But unlike Stranger Things and a lot of other things that use that kind of conceit, is that I don't necessarily feel like I've got enough time with all the characters individually to care about them all to the extent that I'd want to.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, what's his name? The guy from Buffy.
Mickey, I think.
Mickey, yeah. I couldn't tell you a single thing about his character. Not really.
The only thing I know is he almost got fired once for saying that he could see areolas through a shirt. That is the only thing I know.
That's it. I mean, it's great that bring the team together, but if I don't know anything about this character, it has no impact.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair. So again, ideas are great. The execution is very flawed. At this point, no, it's almost like they could have given us this almost the exact same episode of this one, and had the build-up of all the characters been better, then it would have played. Like this episode itself didn't actually need to have that many improvements in and of itself.
No, it's just a symptom of it suffers because it's trying to play off beats that haven't really been earned.
Yes, like if we did actually built up Mickey a little bit more, built up Ava a little bit more, and just had that camaraderie there, then this episode, without doing anything different, would actually just be better for it.
It would, yeah.
But instead, we're kind of where we are. But again, on a surface level action point of view, on a heist sort of, the suspense of getting in and doing all the little bits and pieces
it was pretty fun
to make it work was good. The murder of Ortega's family did actually work, was effective. We did have enough of them that I felt like, that actually meant something. It mattered.
Yeah, and we got more explanation on the Bancroft stuff because we needed more explanation.
Oh yeah, they go full out where it's like, he killed himself because he was ashamed of what he'd done to the prostitute. And because of that, he killed himself. But then once he woke up with the backup, he's too arrogant to think that there was any reason why he could have killed himself. Which I don't actually hate the idea that he did actually just kill himself. I think from a character perspective, that's maybe the more interesting angle that they could have went down. It's just that they've not actually devoted anything to it. It's just, instead of actually being this thing they explore, it's just like a thing they mention. Oh, he killed himself.
Do you know what else is the problem as well? Like every time it's brought up that it could be a suicide, Kovach is like, nah, it's perfect. Nothing in life's perfect. If this was a suicide, it wouldn't be so perfect. But it was a suicide.
Well, I'll side with them to a point because it was caused by someone.
Was it though? The plan was never for him to commit suicide. Really, he just chose to do that because of how he felt.
Well, yeah, but the only reason why he did what he did is because he was drugged. It was set up to do that.
No, that's fair.
So yeah, so the point I'm making though is that there's someone to punish for this. There's someone at fault. There's a guilty party who is responsible for the actions that took place.
Yeah,
regardless of if that was the intention or not. So
No.
yeah. But I mean, it was an okay episode. Like it's just, at this point, it's kind of it's probably as good as it could have been.
Yeah, it suffers because of the rest of the season more than what it's done itself.
On a surface level way, it was mostly a pretty entertaining episode.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as bad, but in many ways, I feel like how I sometimes do with Arrow, in the sense of in the sense of what it's doing is fine, but it's way too long gone for me to care about this stuff. There's no build for me, even though the people who are into the show will like certain episodes because of these things, and I can see why it's ticking these boxes for them, but it just hasn't worked for me. And I think I'm at this point here where it's like, okay, I see what it's doing here with these beats, but I'm past caring for these things now. It's kind of too late.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that doom and gloom. Like, I still think a season 2 could turn everything around.
Oh, it could. I just think for the things that are going to climax
Yeah.
in this season, I'm going to struggle to care. I think beyond the surface level of the fun stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So that's where we're at. So yeah, so some as per usual with this show, some nice ideas, some poor execution on those ideas, but there is still some good action sequences and good elements sprinkled in here or there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, but no, I'll give them credit. That Ortega's family scene being killed, that whole thing, actually is probably the most weight the show's had, because that was actually, they were properly set up. They felt like real people, and they weren't part of all this violent underworld. So you felt really bad for them that this was just kind of bursting into
this
their
is
life.
just retribution on them.
Yeah. So that was kind of effective. But there you go.
And presumably they were all coded as well, so they can't even be brought back.
Yeah, because we know how religious our mother was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there you go. So we got one episode left. We got the finale. We'll see. I expect a lot of action. I expect Lizzie to come into play in some capacity.
Yes.
Especially if she finds out her father's in trouble. That's what'll.
Absolutely. Should be fun.
That said, she's a sleeve, admittedly, but I mean, I'm sure
they can pick one of those up.
they'll hook her up with a sleeve. But yeah, so there you go. That is episode 9 of Altered Carbon. We'll be back probably tomorrow, if not within 2 days, up with the finale. So you can look forward to that. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the rest of it. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fudge for channel updates. If you want to support the show and the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. There's a link in the description to get over there. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?